ready to podcast today. I was trying to figure out how I was going to begin everything because it feels almost like I'm starting afresh. I'm starting all over again in it. Well, I guess it hasn't been that long, but still. And yeah, I just feel so awkward and goofy. And yeah, so that's how we're gonna start the podcast. Being very goofy. I don't even know what podcast episode it is. 80 something, I think. I can't remember. And it's August 5th. It is Monday, August 5th. It's about 11:40 in the morning, and I'm coming to you from Cross Plains, Wisconsin, which is just outside of Madison. What else do I do in my intro? My name is Jennifer. Hi. Oh, and this is Driftless Knitting. Hello. I should probably say that. This is the Driftless Knitting podcast. Welcome. And my name is Jennifer. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Driftless Knitter. You can find the podcast on Ravelry if you search for Driftless Knitting under the groups tab. We just finished up a knit along there. At the end of July, we were doing a knit along for one of my new patterns. It's not really new anymore. It was new in May, I think. That's called the Show Some Love shawl. We did a cal for it from the end of June, or like mid-June to the end of July. So that is now over, and I have not yet drawn for prizes, but maybe I will do that. Maybe I'll take a little break here at some point and draw for prizes and announce that in this episode. So stay tuned if you participated in that knit along. Thank you to everybody who did. There were some gorgeous shawls that came out of that and some really fun conversation. I got to kind of, virtually meet a lot of you knitters and some that I've been friends with for a while and that have been following me and interacting and stuff also joined, and so that was really fun too. But yeah, so not much else is going on right now in the Ravelry group, especially because I haven't podcasted in probably 2 months. I think it's been about 2 months. Beginning of June, I think, would have been the last time I podcasted, and life got crazy. We went on a vacation at the end of June into the beginning of July, and then when I got home from that, we have just been super, super busy with, work and family and all good things, of course, but yeah, it's been a little crazy. I do have 2 travel vlogs up on my YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys have seen those up there. If you haven't had the chance to watch yet, those are all about our trip to Colorado. We spent some time in Rocky Mountain National Park, and then we also went to Grand Lake, Colorado for a day or two, and then went into Denver. We didn't spend a whole lot of time in Denver, and it was just like the outskirts of Denver. We went to a concert at Red Rocks Amphitheater, and then I did get a chance to go to Fancy Tiger Crafts in Denver, which was awesome. I have a little bit to show from there, but yeah, other than that, we had a great road trip, spent, really good bonding time together. I'm actually drinking coffee out of my Rocky Mountain National Park mug, which I try not to buy souvenir mugs much anymore because I have way too many of them. And I don't want to get rid of any of my mugs because they all have like sentimental value, and they were given to me by friends, or they were, from a certain place or whatever. And we just don't have much room for like any more coffee mugs, but I just loved this one. It has, it has that really great image on the front, but then on the inside, I'll tip it down a little bit. I don't have too much coffee in there. But on the inside, it has a lot of the trails and the trailheads labeled. And I can actually, when I look down, I can see a couple of the trails that we did and a couple of the lakes and things that we went to, and the mountain. We climbed one mountain like all the way to the summit. It was a smaller mountain, but you know, so things like that. So I just loved being able to sort of see and recognize some of the places that we went, and I just had to have it. So, oh goodness. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. I had to shut off the air conditioning because it's so loud when it's blowing down here in the living room. So the temperature is steadily climbing back up, and it's 78 degrees inside here right now, so it's a little bit warm. It's 77 outside. It's gonna get into the 80s and possibly thunderstorm tonight. So yeah, we're still, I mean, August, it's still muggy and hot, and yeah, things like that, but we're just gonna push on through. As you can see, we are set up in a little bit of a different area. Again, our living room area is still sort of messed up because we sleep down here in the summertime. And yeah, so nothing is where it should be. But I'm sitting on the floor in between my kitchen and my living room, and I have my little setup back here. Some books that I've been referring to lately, a little bit of hand-spun yarn, and this is my brand new candle from Frostbeard Studio. I'm obsessed with these candles. This one was their July scent, and it's based on Little House on the Prairie, and it smells so fresh and so good. I don't have it lit today because all of our lighters are in our camping supplies, and all of our camping supplies is packed away. You know, we used everything when we were in Colorado, so we don't have my lighter that I usually light candles with up here. It's all in our camping stuff in storage. I didn't feel like going outstairs just for a lighter. I feel like the beginning of this podcast is very directionless, and I apologize, but let's now get into, now that I settle back in, let's get into the actual knitting content. And I'm going to start with, I'm actually going to start with a couple finished objects. I know I usually do works in progress and then finished objects, but this just feels better to do it this way since it's been so long and I have a few finished objects. I would have shown you guys the start of them in the last podcast, and so now, yeah, I just have this pile of knitting, and then I'll go into the new works in progress that I've been working on. So this first finished object, speaking of the Show Some Love Cal, this is the Show Some Love shawl. Yay! So this is the second one that I've knit. The first one was obviously the original and the sample, but this one is out of a Knit Circus gradient called Pocket Full of Posies. And this shawl starts down here at this end and increases. You got some of the eyelet sections here. I love this particular eyelet pattern because it's a little bit more 3D than just doing like yarn over knit two together across. It just gives it a little bit more body and a little bit more interest, and I really, really like that. And then it's got some texture panels, and then more lace, and then it ends with this really beautiful purple color over here. And this pattern is available on Ravelry. What else should I say about it? It is done on a size 4 needle, I want to say. I should know this since I'm the designer, but you know. And it's just a really good size. I can't wait to wear this with, in wintertime, my wardrobe tends to get very neutral. I think a lot of people's do, but I don't know if you can see that very well, but it's asymmetric. It kind of just sits really nicely there. I have both of the ends tucked underneath. There's one, the other one's down here too, and it just fits really well. It's not too large, so you don't feel like overwhelmed by a lot of shawl. And yeah, but it's warm enough, I would say, for wintertime to wear like indoors. It's not obviously going to be, I mean, you could wear it under a coat and stuff, but in this area, you probably want to be a little more bundled up, but this is perfect as an accessory, like indoors, at work, or, you know, at an event or something like that. So yeah, I really, really like it. And this one I get to keep. The other one I didn't get to keep. It is at the Knit Circus store. It is out of their yarn, and yeah, I knit it as a sample for Knit Circus. So, but yeah, this one is out of Knit Circus as well. This was my stash, and I'm really glad I got a chance to use it because I really love just this springy, flowery gradient colorway. So yeah, this was the shawl I knit while participating in the Show Some Love Cal, and I'm really happy. Oh, I gotta weave in some ends there. They're still hanging out. I'm really happy to have my own personal shawl now of the Show Some Love. The second object, I guess, that I have finished was my travel knitting project, and I really like to knit. I did knit some of the Show Some Love shawl on my vacation. I brought that. I also brought the next shawl I'm going to show you, and I brought these socks. These are kind of special. I had this colorway sort of designated for this road trip because it is called road tripping. How perfect is that? And here's the socks. I absolutely love how I love those like pops of turquoise in there with the dark kind of almost like, it's almost a purpley plum color, and the terracotta, and the base is like a tannish, it doesn't have like a pink hue, but it's not just like a straight brown or tan. I love it. And I did I want to say these are the Cobblestone socks by Mina Phillip. Pretty sure they are. So you can see they're not like completely symmetrical on my sock blockers, but you can see there's kind of a pearl ridges in there. And it was just kind of a fun, simple, easy to remember pattern that I really enjoyed knitting while we were on our trip. I think I finished, I can't remember how far I got, but I think I finished the first one while we were still on vacation. So I did one complete sock while we were on vacation, and then did the second one when we got home. But I did this last year when we took our trip to upstate New York, and I had a colorway from the Moon and Sixpence, I want to say. It was her pumpkin spice latte colorway, and I think so. And I actually knit another Mina Phillip pattern while on that vacation, and those socks forever remind me of that trip. It reminds me of what we did and the fun we had, and these socks are going to do the exact same. Knitting is so cool like that, especially when you have a certain project that you knit on during one period of time in your life, and it will always hopefully it's good. Hopefully those memories are good. I understand there are a couple projects that I have that were knit while my Opa, who passed away, my grandfather, who passed away about 9 years ago now. Wow, that was 9 years ago. I was knitting on, I can exactly remember the project I was knitting on, and we all were there in the house, my family, my cousins, my aunt and uncle, my dad, my sister. We were kind of sitting vigil for him, and we were all in the house when he passed. And I can just remember those stitches and remember that pattern, remember the yarn, remember the color, all of that stuff. And while it was a very peaceful passing, it still, was heartbreaking. So in that sense, a knitting project can hold memories that are a little more sad or traumatic or, you know, whatever. But then you have the projects that just make you happy looking at them and seeing the colorway, seeing the pattern, and remembering, you know, the good times, or remembering a trip, or when you got really good news or something like that. And I don't know, there's something special about that. I don't know what else can really tangibly hold those memories like that. So it's really cool. But all that to say, these were my road trip socks. This colorway is called Road Tripping. I think I said that. And the dyer, oh my gosh, we did a trunk show with her at the beginning of the year, and I bought this yarn from her. Oh my gosh, why am I blanking? Old Rusted Chair. I knew it was kind of a longer like name of her dye company, but it's Old Rusted Chair. This is a 75-25 merino and nylon yarn. I knit these on a size US 1, which is what I knit all of my socks on, and I usually cast on 56 stitches, and I knit them toe up. So yeah, it's my little toes. Knit them toe up. Beautiful yarn, beautiful project. Very excited to have these. I need to actually enter those. I haven't really taken like finished object photos of them since I cast off the second one, and there's a bunch of summer sock knit alongs going on, and I need to enter them because why not? I enjoy participating in knit alongs, but I often forget to post my finished objects. So hopefully I remember before all of those threads close. But yeah, I think if you guys are interested in them, I think, who's doing one? Grocery Girls usually do one. I want to say Tea and Possibilities, Nikki is doing one. Who else? I feel like there was at least 3. But now I can't remember. Yeah, I'll look. Maybe I'll give you an update. But definitely Grocery Girls and Tea and Possibilities. They're both doing summer sock knit-alongs. Okay, the third and I think final finished object is a shawl that I actually designed. I am not sure when this is going to be coming out. I thought I had written the directions down, and I had notes in my project bag that this was in, and I thought those were, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so easy. This pattern is fairly straightforward. There's not a lot of complication to it, but I was like, it's gonna be so easy. I'm just gonna take those notes that I made. I'm just gonna, you know, add the details, expand upon it, and then boom, this pattern's gonna be done, written. I do want to have people test it because I've run into a couple issues when I don't have testers, and I just think it's better overall to get things tested. So I was gonna like send it out to testers and be on the ball, ready to go. Then I looked at the notes that were in that project bag, and they do not match up with this project. I don't know what I was doing. I don't know what I was writing down. I just assumed it was this pattern, and I need to look back at it because maybe I just didn't understand what I had written. I don't know. But so I have to kind of re-engineer it or reverse engineer it, and make sure that I have stitch counts right. That's the biggest issue. I know where the increase was, I know where the cable was and everything like that, but I don't exactly know how many stitches I started out with and all that jazz. So, you'd think I'd learn. But I'll give you a quick sneak peek at this because I really, really like it. So this is the shawl. It's another asymmetrical shawl. It's done out of a DK weight, 2 skeins. It is quite large, but it's going to be so cozy. And this here it's a little wrinkly because it's been folded up on my desk for a while, but there is a cable pattern that isn't really, it's kind of subtle. it kind of just looks like a texture throughout it, but it's just these really cool cables. And because it's done sideways, they end up like going this way instead of like up and down. So that's why it has kind of an interesting effect, almost like a wavy effect on it. But I will put this on quick, even though it's getting warmer by the second. Just show, so here's the end. It is kind of large. Oh my gosh, this yarn is so soft. This is Dye Monkey's yarn in her DK base, 100% merino superwash, in the Daybreak colorway. I had 2 skeins of it. I did alternate skeins. So yeah, if you're doing hand dyed, I do think it's important for a shawl like this that takes 2 skeins. I think it's important to alternate them. But yeah, I pretty much just really like this. I'll give you more details when it actually is going to be tested and come out and everything, but yeah, I'm excited about it. Oh my gosh, I wish it was cold. Don't yell at me for saying that. I wish it was cold because I want to wear all my hand knits and I don't really have any summery hand knits. I should fix that. I should knit myself some t-shirts. I've been like dying to, because there's so many beautiful, like, you know, cap sleeve shirts and t-shirts and lacy things. But yeah, I don't have any. So I can't wear any shawls. I can't wear any sweaters. I don't do well in the heat. I overheat really easily. So not one of those people that can, like, it can be like 80 some degrees and you're in like long sleeves. No, no thank you. Can't do it. So yeah, keep your eye out on that. It does not have a name yet. I have a couple names sort of being bandied about in my head, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Okay, moving on to some works in progress. Let's see, I'm gonna show you this work in progress because it's the one I've been knitting on the most over the last couple weeks. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen it on my Instagram a few times actually. And this is in this adorable bag. I love this bag. This is by Papa Sews 2, and unfortunately the maker behind this, he's local to us, and we at Knit Circus used to carry his bags. He has since passed away, which is very, very sad for our knitting community here, our local knitting community. He worked at another yarn store in the area and taught classes and things like that, and he was part of the Madison Knitters Guild, and he got very sick, and a few weeks ago, about a month ago maybe, he passed away. So very dear. I didn't know him personally very well, but I have friends and coworkers who did, and it was a very, very sad day when that news came to us. And yeah, so I hold my little, I just love those animals on there, like a polka dot chicken and a flowery cat, and I just love it. So this is my Kyria Cove shawl, and this is a pattern by Tammy Gore. I think Tammy Gore is the next up and coming, like, I mean, she's already, many people know her, obviously. I have had many of her patterns in my queue for a very long time, but I feel like the amount of patterns I've seen of hers being knit up recently have just skyrocketed, and she has a few that just came out that are really, really fun, that are on my list too. This is one of, I think, like 4 of her patterns that I own currently in my library, and I have another few in my favorites. Everything she does I want to make. It kind of reminds me of how I felt and still do feel about Andrea Mowry. For a while there, like everything Andrea Mowry put out, I was just like, oh my god, I need this in my life. And don't get me wrong, Andrea Mowry still has gorgeous patterns coming out, But lately I've noticed I have the same feeling about Tammy's patterns. So this is just one that I had the right yarn for. I thought it would look beautiful in these colorways, and so I cast on a couple weeks ago, and it's growing. It's getting pretty big. This is out of fingering weight yarn. It's Woolberry Fiber Company. I started down here with the green. This is Woodlands, the Woodlands colorway, and it is on her, I think it's her Everyday Sock base, which is a blue face luster, 80% blue face luster and 20% nylon with 400 yards. So that's Woolberry. She actually just moved to Colorado because she used to live there, and her husband decided to move back. She used to live in Wisconsin in the area, and did a trunk show with us a year ago, a little over a year ago, which is when I got the complement color, which is Graham's Garden. This is on her Berry Merino, yes, Berry Merino base, which is 100% merino wool, 400 yards, and it's a fingering weight as well. I'll show you the Woodlands colorway too in the skein, or the hank, or the ball. It's not really a, ooh, something in my eye. It's not really a ball anymore. It kind of is a little floppy, but it's because I'm pulling from the inside. So yeah, these two colors I thought went really well together. This has got some of that mossy green as well as the pops of color. It's very summery, very nature-y looking, I think. And I think it's perfect for this time of year. I'm really, really enjoying the way that the colors are coming out. And it's all garter stitch, which is so nice. I love a project that I can just pick up and knit. I mean, I'm like increasing a little bit and then you decrease because it's kind of asymmetrical. But for the most part, it's all garter stitch, and it is amazing. Yeah, I just finished, this is kind of a short row section here. You can see the green is wider on this side than this side, so you're doing a few short rows. So that was kind of a fun, like, breaking up just the garter stitch. So now I'm back to just a garter stitch section, and then I think I do more stripes or something, I don't know. I'm just following the pattern. I'm just having fun. Oh, that is a really bad picture of it. Okay, we just had a few technical difficulties. So sorry about that. My phone ran out of storage because I still have all my vacation pictures and videos and things like that on there. So I had to delete a few things. Oh, and I forgot to turn my light on. Let's put that up there. Might make it a little bit easier to see. I did get a chance though to run upstairs and grab the prize for the Show Some Love Cal, and I did random number generator and have a winner now. So I will announce that at the end, which is very, very exciting. But yeah, so I think I was still talking about my Curia Cove shawl. I forget what I was saying, but I think I am fairly close to the end. I think I only have this garter section I'm on now, and then the short row, another short row section, and then another little edge of the complement color. And I'm getting kind of low on yarn. I will have enough. I know I'll have enough, but you know, I can't do like another whole half of this or something like that. So I know I'm getting fairly close to the end. Loving the way it's knitting up. Yeah, I'm not really sure what else I need to say about it. Oh, I hate it when you kind of get out of that rhythm. I was in a bit of a rhythm there, and yeah, kind of got shocked out of it. But that's the Curia Cove. I'd forget what needle size I'm doing it on. Let's see, US 6, 32 inch. I'm using my Addy Click set, and it is the long lace set. And I really like those. So project number 2 I've been working on a little bit here and there is a pair of socks. This is another set of my Birds and Buds socks that I released on Ravelry a few weeks ago, a couple months ago. These were like a spring sock that I designed, and this is my 3rd pair of them that I'm knitting. I love this pattern. It's mindless and easy, and yet it gives you a little bit of kind of a texture on there, and it's really addicting. I don't know if you'll be able to see the texture because of the light, and it's like it's more like a flat texture. It's not a 3D texture, so I don't know if you can see it too well, but I have a Sucre miniature progress keeper on there. It's a cup of hot chocolate with sprinkles on it, and I thought that was kind of fitting for the colorway. This is Birdie Bots from Bumblebee Acres. I got this skein of yarn a few years ago when I was doing, I did a giveaway for their like mini bundle or something like that, and I participated in their Myriad of Minis cowl like knit along, and they gave like a coupon code after that to get a certain percentage off, and I ordered the Birdie Bots colorway because I loved the fun colors of it when I was knitting it in my mini cowl. It was one of the little Harry Potter themed minis that I got, and yeah, I just fell in love with it. I do think it kind of looks like a bowl full of jelly beans, which is really, really fun, and that's obviously what it's supposed to look like. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. This colorway, or this yarn, is a Corriedale and nylon blend. This is their Coquette sock base, and this used to be the only fingering weight that they dyed. Now they also dye a 75-25 blend and a merino and silk blend, I think. Yeah, so you have options now, but I really do like the Corriedale. It's kind of a little more woolly, and I can tell it's going to be really nice to wear on really cold days. Again, I'm doing that sock toe up, doing it on a US 1, and it's in my kitchen counter crafter little bag here with my cows on it. So that's really fun. And that's what I've been knitting on. That's what I've been working on over the last month, 2 months. I also brought down my cozy memory blanket because I cannot remember if I ever showed you my progress on this. I did make some progress and added a few squares, I keep saying a few weeks ago, but honestly, it was probably the end of May, beginning of June, so it was a few months ago. But the last time I podcasted it, I don't think I brought this down. If I did, I apologize. But I did add, let's see, I finished out my Find Your Fade squares. So these 7, starting with this blue over here and going all the way across like that, and there, ending with this one. These are all my Find Your Fade colors that I did. So I added those on, and because I think I added like these 2, these were the last 2 to be put in there, I had to add this one down here first before I could build on to this one, and then next to that I added this one here and built onto that one. And then I can't remember, then after that I must have added these 2. So it was kind of like this section right here that got knit. And that was over the course of probably a couple days. There was a while there where I was kind of participating with the Scrappy Sunday thing, that it's not really a knit along, but Instagram, there's like a hashtag Scrappy Sunday. The Crazy Sock Lady, I think, is the one that kind of started that. She was dedicating Sunday to all her scrappy projects, so she would make sure to put, you know, a little bit of work in there, at least weekly or maybe every other week or something, depending on what life was throwing at her. But yeah, so I did that a few times and was able to get, you know, a few squares done. Again, if this is all like repeat, I apologize, but it has been a while since I've shown this, so I'll just kind of hold it up. It's getting fairly long. Pretty happy with it. I'm gonna keep going a little bit because it just sort of folds over my lap if I'm sitting cross-legged, and I want it to be a little bit longer than that. So I think I'll probably add another 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 squares in length onto this, so it'll be a nice lap throw that maybe 1 or 2 people can sit under and kind of snuggle under. And yeah, it's really fun. I have days where I really crave working on this, and yeah, I don't really carry it with me anywhere. I don't take it with me anywhere because it's so awkward with all of the scraps of yarn that are in there, and the leftovers that I just sort of throw into this tote bag. This is a tote bag that my best friend got me. It's a Little Women tote bag. You can't really see that, but yeah. So I keep it in there. It's nice and big. It's holding everything. And then when I finish with that specific colorway and I like move it on to, I don't know, I move it out of here and I just put it in a drawer on the off chance that I'll be able to use these scraps for something else, which hopefully, you never know, I might start another like scrappy project or something because I still have plenty to do other things with. So yeah, that one hasn't been worked on in a couple months, but I'm not sure if I ever got the chance to show you. Let's move on to acquisitions because it's been 2 months and you know that I bought yarn in those 2 months. I would say the first thing that I bought, it was before vacation, I believe. Yeah, definitely. We had 2 trunk shows throughout the month of, well, one of them was in June as well, so June and July, and then this other one was just July. But at Knit Circus, we like to bring in other indie dyers to do trunk shows with, so they change monthly, and we get, you know, a new rotation of them every month so that people can be exposed to new dyers. We can give these dyers kind of a chance to get their yarn out if they don't do a lot of wholesale, or it just doesn't work for their platform to do wholesale, not their platform, but their business at the time to do wholesale. We like to bring people in, and we had Wild Haven yarn during the month of June, and then we kept her yarn for the month of July too, because we loved it so much. But I did get a skein of Wild Haven, and this one is called Slow Saturday, and it just spoke to me. I love like the mauvey browns in there, but then it also has kind of a really bright pop of yellow sometimes that comes through. I don't know if there's a little bit more yellow in there too. And then the background is kind of a gray, a warm gray. So I thought that would really be fun. This is a 75-25, I think. Yes. It's 463 yards, 100 grams. And Wild Haven Fiber Company, she used to own a yarn shop, but then closed the yarn shop and is just focusing on hand dyeing yarn. And she is out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so fairly local to us too, here in Madison. Yeah, so there's that. And then the other trunk show we had was 6 and 7 fiber. We had her until the end of July as well, and I had to have this skein. I almost bought like 3 or 4 of them to knit a sweater with because this is a merino cashmere nylon blend and it is absolutely scrumptious. The color is just amazing. It's got that bright purple and kind of this dark black brown color. There's a little bit of blue kind of that comes through. It's like this gray steel blue. Oh my God, it's so pretty. Love this colorway. And this is on her alfalfa base, which is merino, 80% merino, 10% cashmere, and 10% nylon, 382 yards, and this is the solstice colorway. So I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I don't know if it's going to be a shawl or a cowl or something beautiful close to my neck. I just had to have it. I had to have it. So those were the two trunk show yarns I got. While I was away, did this come? This came after, I think after we got back from vacation, but I'll show it to you now because I ordered it much before vacation. Bumblebee Acres, which is a wonderful, wonderful little independent company. They do awesome yarns. They're in Illinois. I know of them personally. I kind of grew up with them, with the daughters. We went to the same elementary school, which is really awesome. And then every time we get to go to a fiber festival, I get to reconnect with them and kind of see them. So, and I know they watch the podcast, so hi. But I ordered, so they were discontinuing pretty much all of their Game of Thrones colorways. They're bringing some of them to shows and stuff throughout the summer and the fall, but there was like no guarantee that any of these colors would be brought back. So I'm not a huge Game of Thrones like die-hard fan. I enjoyed watching it. I watched you guys are all probably just like, oh my God. I watched the 7th and 8th seasons only. I know. But it kind of just, it was a fluke. I didn't have time to go back and rewatch the first seasons, and I really wanted to watch with Seaver. He was watching the 7th season, and so I started with that one, and then I watched the 8th season, the last season, this past year. But so I did kind of really get into, at least a little bit get into that while it was on. And I had to have a little bit of Game of Thrones yarn because it felt like it was the end of an era. I felt like I needed a Game of Thrones colorway to sort of, I don't know, represent that. So I ended up ordering their Samwell Tarly colorway because A, I love the colors, it's totally me, and B, I love Samwell Tarly. He is an awesome character. And yeah, so they sent me this pin that says, I knit and I know things, and that's a Tyrion kind of quote, I guess. They changed it, you know, that's a very popular one that people have changed. And there's the Bumblebee Acres. So as you can tell, I really like their yarn. I have a little bit more Bumblebee Acres to show you in a bit, but first let's get to what I got at Fancy Tiger Crafts. Woohoo! I got this tote bag. They gave me this tote bag, which was awesome. Great. I love a tote bag. Great project bag. So it took me a long time to figure out what I wanted from them, from that shop. I eventually landed on some hand-dyed yarn that I hadn't really seen before. I really loved this colorway. It's called How's Your Aspen, and it's from Nerd Yarns, Nerd String with a K, Nerd with a K, if you can see that. This is a DK weight, and it just has a really beautiful kind of taupey background and green speckles throughout. I loved that one, and they had 2 skeins of it. So I got the 2, and then I thought of doing a, let's see, is this 100% merino? Yep, 100% superwash merino. It has 218 yards. So I got these 2, and I thought maybe a complement color would go really well. So this is Mash. like the show, M-A-S-H, as like an acronym. Where's the, I don't know if you can, oh, this light is making everything bounce off it, but, oh, yeah, not good. But, yeah, so MASH, it's kind of an army green, but it has some, like, more bluey greens in there, just a really, really pretty color, kind of semi-solid. And I thought it went pretty well with these two. So I'm gonna do something, probably a shawl or a wrap, maybe with a little color work or something, or slip stitches, or I don't really know. But I thought that was a really fun way to commemorate my trip. Got some souvenir yarn, and a tote bag, and yeah, all is well. So yeah, that's the yarn that I bought while on vacation. When I got home from vacation, so that was the end of June into July, the third week in July, or the second week in July, we had our Knit Circus birthday party, and it was also the grand opening of the new expanded space. So we now have like double the square footage at Knit Circus that we used to, and we were celebrating having our dye studio for 4 years, I think, and then also wrapping in the introduction of the new space. So we had some really fun things and giveaways and prizes. And then on Saturday we had another trunk show with Molly of A Homespun House, and she brought all of her beautiful hand-dyed yarns and herself, which is always wonderful. She is such a kind person and a great person to be around, and I really enjoy talking to her. And she obviously, like I said, brought her yarn, and I can't not buy yarn, especially at a trunk show, especially when it's like a fun, exciting event, and I had birthday money. So yeah, I had to. So the first thing I picked out was some 80/20 sock yarn. I love an 80/20 base, and I love the kind of puffy ply of a lot of 80/20s. That really kind of springy 2-ply, it's wonderful. It's my favorite to knit with. So I got this skein of Homestead, and it's showing up really purple. It looks really, really purple in the light, but it's like a brown background. It has bright pinks. It does have a little bit of purple in there, but not as much as is showing up. And I love the name of it, Homestead. It just kind of gives me all the warm and fuzzy feelings. And I got this kind of bright purpley blue to go with it. It has some of that pink in there that kind of goes with that. And then, like I said, the Homestead does have a little bit of purple throughout, and I think it picks it up really nicely. This looks very blue on the camera, but it is more of like a purple periwinkle color. So this will be a really fun sock set to make a pair of socks with. And also, I kept going back to her mini sets. I desperately wanted another mini set, and I had to go with this one. I don't think it has like a name of which like mini set it is. Each of the colorways does have a colorway name, but I haven't opened it up yet. I kept getting drawn back to these 4 colors here at the end, especially these 3 middle ones. And I love all of them, but these 3 were really, really calling out to me. There we go, that's a little better. And yeah, I had to get this. So yeah, these were my birthday splurges for myself. I turned 29 on July 10th, so I had, yeah, like I said, I had a little bit of birthday money. I wanted to treat myself to something. Not like I don't already treat myself to things, but this was definitely a want, and I can't wait to knit something really fun with those mini skeins. Okay, so this brings me all the way to beginning of August. I didn't buy anything, any yarn, anything for like 2 or 3 weeks, which is a lot of time for me working in a yarn shop. Constantly trying to tell myself that I don't don't need any more. But I went to Stitches Midwest on Saturday, this past Saturday, which was August 3rd. And I had a lot of fun. We went through the marketplace. I went with a couple coworkers. We were kind of scouting out yarns for trunk shows and other things maybe that we could talk to people about wholesaling, or just fun ideas to bring new stuff into our shop. I love working with like more independent dyers and companies rather than really big, you know, commercial, like huge yarn companies. I mean, that yarn is awesome too, but we are such like a specific, very specialized store that I think having other handmade goods and stuff is really fits in well and is really cool. One of our first stops was at Bumblebee Acres. Look familiar? And they had some of their new colorways available, and one of those I had seen on Instagram and their stories, and this is called Hagrid's Pumpkin Patch. And whoa, I loved the name, I loved the colors. It's just very autumnal, and I knew this was gonna come home with me. I had already made the decision pretty much, and I'm gonna knit my autumn socks out of this. I like having kind of like a theme, like when the seasons change, I like having a colorway that kind of gets me into the autumn mood. So this is gonna be my autumn pair of socks. I'm very excited. And then we did a lot more looking around, eventually made it back to a Homespun House. Her booth there said hi to Molly, said hi to Katie. Katie was there from Lock and Lou. It's Molly's best friend, and was selling her Progress Keepers. But from Molly, I didn't get any more yarn because I had just gotten some from her at our trunk show, but I did get some Tuft Woolens. She sells their lotion bars and also their chapstick. And I don't know what happened to me, but I left both of these in my car for an entire day in the summer, and they both melted. Yeah, they both melted. I took this out of the bag, so the bag was in my car, took it out of the bag, and once I had remembered that they were in there, and sure enough, I was like swishing it around and it was liquid. Thankfully nothing like got anywhere. It all stayed inside here, but when I got home, I put it in the fridge. It's still usable, I think. You can see there's like a section of it that melted away. And yeah, but there's still the lotion in there, the lotion bar. There's a little bit of stuff, like residual stuff along the sides of here, but still able to use it, thank goodness. The chapstick kind of fared a little bit worse. A lot of it melted up into the cap, and then I just have a hollow, yeah, it's hollow, but it's like along the edges, and yeah, I was pretty mad at myself for doing that. Lesson learned, and it was like nobody's fault but my own, obviously. But I got the Honeycrisp apple scent for the lip balm, and the honey lavender, upside down, the honey lavender for the hand lotion bar. I have a sock soap of Tuft Woolens in this color, in this colorway, in this scent, and I love it, so I thought I would really like it on my hands as well. And sorry I'm rushing, but I really don't want my storage to run out again. I ended up getting 2 Progress Keepers this time from Lock and Lou. She hand makes these, and they're all pretty much like nature themed. So this top one is a chicory flower, and chicory is the flowers that grow on the side of the road, and they're the blue. They're considered weeds, but they're one of my favorite wildflowers. They only grow on the side of roads or paths or like gravel drives or something like that, which is really, really fascinating. But yeah, I love those blue flowers. They just make the roadsides look so beautiful in the summertime. And then I got this little bitty fall autumn tree, which I think is going to be so much fun to put on my projects come fall time, and I can't wait to use that. I actually spotted later on in the day, I went up to the hotel lobby and I met up with some really awesome knitters, including Tristan of Dragon Horde Yarn and Christy of Yarn Cafe Creations. They were both there. It was so good to meet them finally, and we just sat around and talked and had really great conversations. I could have stayed there all night. I was supposed to leave at like 3-ish and I stayed until 4:30, I think. It was just really hard to like rip myself away from them, from everybody. It was a group of about, was there like 6 or 7 of us total, I think. And yeah, we just like start talking about something else and then talk, and then be like, okay, I really gotta go. I really need to leave soon. And then bring something else up. And then it was like talk. It was so much fun. And next year, I think I need to just get a hotel room and stay like the weekend and just do all the things. Yeah, because it was just fun to hang out and be around knitters. Everywhere you looked, there was a knitter, and it was amazing. And I was just gonna say, I spotted that little Lock and Lou Progress Keeper, the little tree. I spotted that on Christy's project too, and I was gonna say like, oh my gosh, I got that one too, but I just didn't have the chance and totally forgot by the time I was leaving. But yeah, so yeah, Stitches Midwest was awesome. I'm really glad I got the chance to say hi to friends I had already known and then meet some new ones. Yeah, I'm blanking on everyone else's name. I know Kimberly was there, and there was another knitter, and then Asylum Fibers was there. I can't remember your first name. I follow you on Instagram. You have awesome things, but I can't remember your first name. Sorry, but yeah, Asylum Fibers was there too, sitting and chatting, and there's a couple others. It was so good, and it inspired me to kind of get back to podcasting, to hear people say that they loved watching and all that stuff. It was really awesome. So anyway, needless to say, Stitches Midwest, awesome show. Wish I could have spent more time there. It was great to meet everybody, and I'm obviously really happy with what I came away with. I'm also really happy I didn't totally splurge, and I probably would have, as much as I love yarn, and you know I love to buy yarn, there would have been a little part of me that would have felt bad, because you know, we are in the time of our lives where we're trying to like buy a house and do all that fun stuff, adult stuff, and spending a ton of money on yarn isn't necessary, I suppose, even though I love it so much and it's like my favorite pastime, besides actually knitting with the yarn. Okay, so before my phone runs out of storage again, we are going to, I'm gonna announce the prize winner. Yay! Okay, so during my little break earlier, I did random number generator, and I got a post number, but before I say what post number, let me recap the prizes. So this is a beautiful hand-dyed skein of yarn from Darn Yarn MN. This is in the Earth Mama colorway. It's a really big guy too. This is 150 grams, 660 yards. It is a superwash yarn, and it is a 100% merino yarn. So this is great for shawls or any other like big project, and it's just so gorgeous. This was a limited edition yarn that came out a couple years ago, and I actually ended up with 2 big hanks of it, and really I only need one, you know, to do a shawl project or something, so thought that would be an awesome prize. I also have some stitch markers that I kind of forgot was in the prize vault. These are from a friend of mine and a friend of the podcast, Beth Block. I'm not sure if she's doing anything with Prickle Stitch yarns anymore, or maybe she's on a hiatus or something, but she had sent these to me so long ago, and I thought I would love to get them out into the world, get them to a prize winner. So we have a lot of progress keepers in there, some beautiful, it kind of reminds me of the yarn. They're very earthy, very, I don't know, very distinguished looking, and they're so pretty. So we have the Progress Keepers, we have the yarn, and we have some beautiful little care tags. These are from Gallery in the Garden, and I have worked with them a lot on things for Knit Circus. We've ordered from them a lot, and then she sent an extra little package of all these hang tags. So it has the thread on in the back, and then you can tie it onto a project if you're giving it away, or if you just want to remember what the fiber's made out of or something like that, and you want to kind of put a reminder on any of your sweaters or shawls or whatever. These little guys are just so perfect for that. So you'll get the care tags, you'll get the Progress Keepers, and you'll get the yarn. And the winner of this is post number 17, which is, I'm not sure how to say your Instagram Ravelry name. It's Kteni, and it's Tanya. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. We talk all the time on Instagram, and I was so excited that you are the winner because you were so involved in that thread. You were so excited for the Show Some Love Cal, and just got everybody else excited, and even told a couple people about it. So I thought this was so fitting that you would win the prize. You are in British Columbia, Canada, so please email me your or Instagram. We have an Instagram message already going on Instagram, so just message me your address and I will get that shipped out to you. Thank you so much for participating and for being so excited about it. Thank you to everybody who did, and I'm just really, really happy to have hosted that Cal, so thank you so much. I think that's about it. I better wrap this up before I lose you again. Thank you for watching. I will try not to make it be 2 months before I podcast again. Thank you to everybody who has interacted with me on Instagram and on Ravelry, especially for the Cal. I hope to be doing some more of those coming up, but I'll let you know. For those of you who are going to the Driftless Knitting Retreat in September, I'm so excited. I sent out an email to participants today with a few more details, and yeah, I can't wait. So many good things coming up. I also wanted to say that this podcast and this space continues to be open and supportive and loving to everybody, no matter who you are, no matter what color or what creed or what who you love. I love all of you. You are all my friends. You are all my family. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. And I just wanted to again make that clear, and just say my heart is and my arms are open to everybody, and yeah, I love you all. Thank you for watching. Be kind to one another, love each other, and I will see you again very soon. Bye. That's the garden. It's a little garden this year. And there's a little group of heifer calves. They're getting bigger. And they're grazing away like it's their job. They're just mowing down everything.